My aunt stole my dad's $3,500 laptop, and then looked us dead in the eyes like we owed her an apology. She didn't flinch. She didn't blink. She just smirked, like ruining him didn't even register as wrongdoing. But in less than 2 hours, that same smirk will melt off her face. She'll be standing under courtroom lights, pretending she's innocent, while everyone watches her confidence crumble. She'll try explaining why her fingerprints are all over a laptop she swore she never touched. She'll try explaining why her login appeared at 11:47 p.m., long after she claimed she was already home. And she'll definitely try explaining why the buyer has photos of her, smiling, posing, holding the stolen device like it belonged to her. But there's one thing she won't be able to explain. One thing she never knew existed. One piece of evidence was buried so deep that even I didn't realize how explosive it was until the judge demanded it. And when he sees it, when her last lie finally breaks, her face doesn't just fall. It disintegrates. Because she thought she'd stolen a laptop. She didn't realize she'd just stolen her own downfall. My aunt treated our house like it was some public storage unit she didn't have to pay for. She'd walk in without knocking, barking orders like she owned the air we breathed, and Dad would just smile, pretending it didn't sting. Family deserves patience, he always said, even when she drained every drop of his. But there was something else too. Something behind her smile, behind the "oh, I'm just visiting" act. A cold flicker. A calculation. Like she wasn't just entering our home, she was scanning it. And the worst part? She had this habit of borrowing things that vanished into thin air. A charger today. A toolbox tomorrow. My mom's bracelet one week, and she wore it in front of us the next, saying it just looked similar. When we asked for anything back, she'd laugh. Not a normal laugh, a loud, sharp, mocking one, like we were accusing her of robbing a bank instead of robbing us. Dad never confronted her. He saved his confrontations for bills and work stress and things that actually mattered to him. But the laptop, that was different. He'd saved for months. Skipped lunches he didn't admit he skipped. Took extra shifts he pretended he volunteered for. His old laptop wheezed like an asthmatic vacuum cleaner every time he opened a spreadsheet. So when he walked in with that sleek, new machine, God, he looked younger. Like life had finally given him something back. It was the one thing he bought for himself without guilt. But she circled him that day like a shark that smelled blood. What brand is it? How much? Why something so expensive? Dad laughed it off, but I watched her eyes. Those eyes didn't show curiosity. They showed hunger. 2 days later, she appeared again, uninvited, as always. Only this time, she didn't talk much. She just wandered. Slow. Quiet. Like she was inspecting inventory for a store she planned to restock. When she passed Dad's office, she paused. Looked at his backpack for a beat too long. Noticed the zipper. The shape. Where he kept it. That pause sent something crawling up my spine. A warning I couldn't explain. She left early. Too early. And she left with a smile, a small, satisfied smile. One that didn't feel like goodbye. It felt like a countdown. That night, Dad walked into the living room looking like someone had unplugged his soul. "Where's my laptop?" His voice was thin. Shaky. We checked everywhere, even places that didn't make sense, like behind the couch or inside drawers. But the bag was empty. Completely empty. No note. No explanation. Just gone. Dad tried to force a smile that never reached his eyes. "It's fine. It's just a laptop," he whispered. But it wasn't. It was his work. His late nights. His pride. His one treat to himself after months of scraping by. "This isn't a missing sock," I told him. "This isn't a spatula she forgot to return." He didn't argue. He just looked at the floor, defeated. His voice cracked when he finally said, "Let it go." But that crack wasn't fear. It was resignation, the sound of a man who'd been stepped on by the same person for too many years. I looked at the empty bag. At Dad's tired face. At the silence she left behind. And something in me hardened. Let it go. No. Not this time. Because this wasn't just theft. It was the beginning of something she never thought we'd uncover. And she had no idea how far I was about to take this. The next morning, my aunt posted a photo like she'd just won a championship. A cafe table, a foamy latte, and front and center, the exact laptop my dad had worked himself sick to afford. Same model. Same worn keys. Same tiny tear on the sticker Dad peeled too fast on the first day. She didn't hide it. She flaunted it. Like she wanted me to see it. The moment I confronted her was when the real cut landed. I sent her the picture and typed, "Where did you get that?" She saw it immediately, 2 blue ticks, instant open. And then she laughed. A voice note, soft, bored, dripping with superiority, like she was swatting away a fly. "Relax," she said. "Mine is newer." Not a stutter, not a moment of hesitation. She didn't even pretend to make the lie sound real. She didn't care that we knew. Her arrogance filled the room like smoke, thick, choking, impossible to ignore. Dad tried calling her within seconds, panic shaking his hands. Call 1, ignored. Call 2, straight to voicemail. Call 3, user unavailable. The kind of message you only get when someone blocks you without blinking. She blocked her own brother, just to avoid returning what she stole. She treated him like a spam caller. Like he wasn't the man who drove her to medical appointments, helped her move houses, lent her money she never paid back. Like he was disposable. Watching his face collapse felt like watching a bridge crack in slow motion, something strong breaking where it shouldn't. My heartbeat was in my throat as I typed the truth, "You stole his laptop. Bring it back." Her reply came instantly, almost too fast, like she'd been waiting to deliver the knife twist. If he cared so much, she wrote, he wouldn't leave expensive stuff lying around. No guilt. No shame. Just raw, polished entitlement sharpened into a blade. My chest went hot, like someone lit a match and dropped it inside my ribs. Dad read the message over my shoulder and physically stepped back, as if the words hit him harder than losing the laptop. He didn't deserve that heartbreak. Not after years of giving her grace she never returned. He'd excused her selfishness, her borrowing, her lies, always hoping she'd grow up. And this was her answer, blame him for what she stole. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I didn't feed the fire she wanted. I just stared at the phone and felt something snap inside, something simple, final, permanent. Every excuse we ever made for her evaporated. Every "that's just how she is" died on the spot. She had no idea what line she'd crossed. No idea what evidence had already started piling up. No idea how fast the truth can surround someone who thinks they're untouchable. She had no idea the story had already shifted, and she wasn't the hero anymore. She was the defendant. And the fall she was about to take would echo louder than her lies ever did. The first thing I checked was Dad's email. He never logs in anywhere except his old desktop, so when I saw a notification, "New login detected," my stomach tightened like a fist. The IP wasn't ours. Different city. Different provider. Different everything. I screenshotted it before it could vanish. Someone had opened his cloud folder, someone bold enough to think they wouldn't get caught. Next, I opened the device tracking page, something Dad didn't even know existed. The page loaded painfully slow, like it was holding its breath. Then, ping. A glowing dot appeared on the map. My aunt's neighborhood. Timestamp, 11:47 p.m. The exact time she pretended she'd forgotten something on the stove before leaving our house. That lie suddenly made perfect sense. I went to her favorite cafe's social page and messaged them directly. "Hi, did anyone leave a laptop there this morning?" 5 long minutes passed, my pulse counting each second. Then, "Yes, we have security stills if needed." I typed, "Send them," faster than I'd typed anything in my life. 3 photos arrived. Same cafe table. Same laptop. Same silver edge with the tiny scar Dad made peeling off the price tag. But it was the reflection that punched the air out of my lungs, her bracelet. That bulky charm bracelet she flashed like a personality trait. She didn't just steal it. She paraded with it. Then I checked the financial side. Dad's bank had no strange charges. But the resale app linked to his email? Different story. Her listing glowed on the screen like a confession. Brand new laptop fast sale, $1,800. Posted 20 minutes after she left our home. Buyer's comment, thanks for the fast pickup. Fast pickup. Fast money. Fast betrayal. I messaged the buyer. Didn't even explain, just asked if he still had their chat. He sent screenshots instantly. Every message hit harder than the last. Her username, same as every account she'd ever made. And then her phone number at the top. Not a fake. Not a burner. Her real number, proudly attached to stolen goods. Then came the message that made my hands tremble. By the way, I took a pickup photo. Need that too? I typed yes with shaking fingers. Seconds later, the photo opened. My aunt. Smiling like she'd won a prize she deserved. Holding Dad's laptop like she owned the world. And on the bottom of the device, the serial number sticker. Clear. Undeniable. Perfectly readable. Dad dug through drawers until he found the original purchase receipt. He unfolded it slowly, like he already knew the truth but was scared to confirm it. He looked down at the serial number. Then up at my phone screen. He didn't have to speak. The match was exact. Every digit. Every dash. Every lie she ever told collapsed in that moment. I should have stopped there. We had enough evidence to bury her twice. But something told me to keep digging. So I opened her Facebook Marketplace profile. Scrolled back months. And my heart dropped. There they were, my mom's missing bracelet. Dad's old camera. The toolbox she swore she never touched. All sold. All gone. All hers to profit from. This wasn't theft. This was a pattern. A habit. A trail she thought no one would ever follow. Then I zoomed into the buyer slip he'd sent earlier. The signature at the bottom was sloppy, nothing like her handwriting. She tried forging her own name to look legitimate. That's when I realized the signature was fake. Another crack in her tower of lies. The buyer didn't stop sending evidence. Honestly, I never expected the seller to reply so fast, he admitted. Seller. Not she. He didn't know he'd shaken hands with a thief. But that line revealed her mindset. She never expected anyone to follow up. She thought the perfect crime didn't need perfect planning. I checked the IP locator again. Typed the address in deeper. This time, it didn't just show the street, it showed her Wi-Fi name. Her exact network. Her digital fingerprint stamped across every login. Then Dad checked bank notifications he usually ignored. A payout from the resale app. Completed. Sent to an account with the same last digits she bragged about when she opened it. The bank confirmed it. Finally, I reread her smug alibi messages. Already home by 11, she claimed. But the tracking ping hit at 11:47. And her message was timestamped 12:03. She wasn't just lying, she couldn't even lie in the right order. Every twist tightened the noose she didn't realize she'd woven around herself. Every new truth made it clearer. She wasn't unlucky. She wasn't framed. She wasn't misunderstood. She was caught. And she didn't even see it happening. The judge didn't smile. He flipped through the file once, slow, heavy, like every page already convicted her. He raised one eyebrow, the kind that slices straight through lies, and said, "Let's begin." My aunt walked in with the same fake confidence she'd worn her whole life. Chin high. Shoulders back. But her hands were twitching, like they were trying to confess before she did. Even the bailiff watched her with that "this one's guilty" stare. My lawyer leaned toward me, voice low and almost amused. "This will be quick," he whispered. "And the scary part?" He meant it. He stood, smooth, calm, controlled. The kind of calm someone has only when they know the ending. "Exhibit A," he announced. The screen flashed to life. A map. A timestamp. A blinking dot sitting right on her street at 11:47 p.m. My aunt froze. Like someone poured ice water straight into her spine. The judge leaned forward. Not curious. Interested. The bailiff opened the side door. The buyer walked in clutching his phone like armor. He sat and answered without hesitation, yes. I picked up the laptop from her. Same night. Same address. He held his phone toward the court. Their message thread expanded across the screen, her words, her emojis, her smug little instructions. My aunt's jaw dropped so wide you'd think her bones unhinged. And the judge noticed the username at the top, her email. Her handle. Her name stamped on every bubble like a signature of guilt. My lawyer clicked again. The next slide hit harder. A photo appeared, sharp, unforgiving. My aunt, beaming, holding Dad's laptop like she'd earned it. The serial number sticker glowed under the lights like a tattoo she couldn't hide. Then Dad's original receipt came up. My lawyer held it under the photo. The numbers lined up perfectly, every dash, every digit. A wave of gasps spread through the gallery. People whispered. Others stared. My aunt didn't move at all. Now, my lawyer said, voice steady, let's view the cafe footage. The video played. There she was walking in, laptop under her arm, strutting like she owned the world. She sat, opened it, tapped the keys. Then the camera caught it. Her bracelet. That ugly charm bracelet she never left home without flashing in the screen's reflection like a neon confession. A woman in the gallery couldn't stop herself, oh my God. My aunt's hand flew to her forehead, wiping sweat that wouldn't stop forming. Her breathing changed. Her confidence cracked. My lawyer wasn't done. He pulled up the bank logs. Clean. Precise. Brutal. Funds deposited into her account the same night. Payout confirmed, he said. Transferred to the defendant. The judge's eyes sharpened instantly. No sympathy. No confusion. Just the cold calculation of someone adding up crimes. My aunt's excuses died before they even left her throat. Then panic took over her body. She shot to her feet so fast the chair screeched across the floor. It's all a misunderstanding, she started. The judge didn't even blink. Sit down. No shout. No threat. Just a command so heavy the air folded around it. She sat instantly. Face drained. Hands trembling like the truth was shaking her from the inside. My lawyer turned back to the laptop, almost casual now. And finally. Exhibit F. The lights dimmed. A new screen filled with Facebook Marketplace listings. Her account. Her photos. Her captions. Listing 1, Mom's bracelet. Listing 2, Dad's camera. Listing 3, the toolbox she borrowed and swore she never touched. 3 items. 3 lies. 3 sales. The judge slammed his pen so hard the whole courtroom jumped. This, he said, voice sharp enough to cut glass, is not isolated. My aunt's lips trembled. Her voice cracked like something snapped inside her. I was stressed. Money was tight. Family pressure, I didn't know what else to do. But the excuses melted as fast as she said them. Even she didn't believe them. No one in the courtroom nodded. No one whispered support. Her daughter cried quietly behind her, tiny sobs that stabbed the silence. The judge rose. Not angry. Not rushed. Just certain. My aunt tried one last desperate shot. Your Honor, his evidence is. Miss Carter, the judge said sharply, your evidence is fabricated. She gasped. Tried again, no. The judge cut through her voice like a blade, no. Yours is. A silence slammed onto the room so hard it felt physical. My lawyer stepped forward. No theatrics. No smirk. Just the final strike. She stole from her own brother. The judge looked at Dad. Then at me. Then at the woman who caused all this. And he nodded once, slow, final, absolute. A nod that carried the verdict before the words arrived. Miss Carter, he said, calm but merciless, this wasn't an accident. She flinched, like the words themselves bruised her. This was deliberate theft, digital fraud, and resale of stolen property. Her mouth hung open, but no sound came. Every excuse she came with had already died. You will repay the full amount, he paused just long enough to make her hope. Plus penalties. Her shoulders dropped. Her last defense fell with them. And in that moment, she wasn't a thief with excuses. She was a thief with consequences. Dad got the compensation within a month, not a dollar short, not a day late. The laptop was gone forever, but justice didn't depend on metal and wires. Justice lived in the moment the truth finally stopped hiding, and stood in front of everyone. My aunt vanished after the verdict. No messages. No half apologies. Just silence, the kind people retreat into when they can't face the mirror anymore. Whenever someone brought up her name, Dad would just shrug, a small, tired smile slipping onto his face, like he'd finally let go of a weight he'd been dragging for years. One night, he finally admitted what we both knew but never said. He'd been protecting her for half his life. Not because she deserved protection, but because he kept hoping she'd one day stop taking advantage of him. He gave her patience she didn't earn. Trust she didn't value. And chances she used as stepping stones to take more. But this time, the law didn't give her another chance, it gave him something he never believed he was allowed to have, a boundary. A line she couldn't cross again. A moment where he finally answered the question he'd avoided his whole life, when is enough, enough? We stood together in our living room, the same room she once treated like her personal storage aisle, and for the first time in a long time, it felt different. Calmer. Lighter. Like the house itself exhaled. A weight lifted. A silence settled, not empty, but peaceful. It felt like a door closing quietly, firmly. A line drawn with ink that would never fade. Justice didn't whisper this time. It arrived, loud, sharp, undeniable. And it stayed. If this story hit you, subscribe for more courtroom justice, because the next case doesn't just burn, it explodes.